Twitter is releasing a new subscription service called Twitter Blue. It is initially being released in the Great White North and the Land Down Under. It's priced at $3.49 a month in Canada and $4.49 a month in Australia and has new features like undo tweet, reader mode, a bookmarks folder, and the ability to change the Twitter app theme and icon. Blue seems to be another attempt from Twitter to try and get users to spend money on their platform. The first two attempts being Super Follows and Tip Jar. If you don't remember, Super Follows is a subscription service that hasn't been released, which allows users to subscribe to other Twitter users to gain access to exclusive tweets and more, like Patreon. All of these monetizing features are being released to accomplish Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's goal of doubling Twitter's revenue by 2023 to $7.5 billion. I don't know why it took Jack 15 years to finally decide to make some money, but I'm sure it has nothing to do with him almost being ousted from Twitter last year. Regardless, moving to a subscription model would help make Twitter less reliant on advertising, which made up 86% of their total revenue in 2020. But why is Blue so expensive? According to a leak, Blue is going to cost $3 a month in the US, but $36 a year for the features it provides is way too much. Maybe instead of undo tweets, which only gives you a buffer of 30 seconds, they actually let you edit tweets like every single Twitter user has been asking for over a decade. An argument could be made about the price. What was Twitter thinking? Well, according to Jane Wong, an app researcher that first leaked information about Twitter Blue a couple weeks ago, Twitter is working on a tiered subscription pricing model, with one tier having more features than the other. Like how Netflix offers HD video on its middle tier instead of its lowest tier, so people are kind of forced to upgrade to the middle tier. So what would the higher tiers of Twitter Blue offer? Well, Twitter has been on a bit of an acquisition spree. They acquired Review earlier this year, which is a Dutch startup that allows users to monetize email newsletters with a subscription. Twitter also acquired Scroll, which removes ads from participating news sites with a subscription. So it's not particularly difficult to piece together that Twitter will integrate these services into the main Twitter platform and bundle them together as a higher tier of Twitter Blue. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense for Twitter to get involved with the news. Even though I have a New York Times and a Wall Street Journal subscription, I get most of my news from Twitter and Reddit. That's how I stay updated on the world, and I assume it's the same for a lot of you watching. So if it's possible to read entire articles without even leaving the Twitter app, while at the same time supporting journalists and news outlets, it might seem like a worthwhile purchase to some users. Who knows, maybe they even go as far as building an Apple News Plus competitor. And let's be completely clear, I am guessing on what Blue's higher tiers will offer. But I am excited to see where Twitter goes from here. I mean, in the last 5 years, the most exciting thing Twitter did was increase their character limit. And it's weird, because when people mention social media sites, Twitter is almost always used in the same breath as Facebook and Instagram. But Twitter has nowhere near the user base or the revenue stream. But maybe in a couple of years, it might get up there. So, my question to you is, would you ever pay for a social media platform? I know the idea seems completely foreign, but with Apple taking a stricter stance on ads like I mentioned in my last video, and Facebook warning users that if they don't make enough ad revenue, they might have to start charging users, there might be a cataclysmic shift in the social media landscape. Just like how I'd like to cause a shift in the YouTube landscape. So please help me appease the YouTube algorithm overlords by liking and subscribing, so they look favorably upon a lowly peasant like me. Oh, and one last thing, can we talk about the name Blue? Really? Twitter, please stop copying YouTube's homework. Looks like Twitter finally realized that instead of being the place you go to find a creator's OnlyFans, Twitter could become the new OnlyFans.